Hi guys, just before we get into today's video, I just wanted to take a moment to thank everybody that took the time to watch the first video. I was blown away by the response to it, by how many people took the time to watch it, how many people commented, found it interesting. Someone must have shared it on some other platform because there were just so many views on the video, and I just wanted to thank everybody that took the time. I appreciate it. The intention behind the channel is really for me to post videos more frequently. So I wanted to explain a little bit of why it took me so long to get the second one out there. With my first video, it was my first ever attempt at editing any video. So it took some time to learn how to use the program I was using back then. And then what I found very disappointing was when I was uploading it to YouTube, I saw that the quality of my actual footage and the quality of the video that you guys see on YouTube is just not the same. The quality is way worse on YouTube, and after some research we realized it was the editing software I was using that limited the quality of the video that I could upload to YouTube. That made it necessary for me to start using a different editing software, which meant I had to learn from scratch again. And the jump from the software that I was using to the one I'm using now is huge. So it really took me so long just to learn how to use this program. You'll probably see in this video that I made quite a bit of mistakes. I know the audio isn't the best always, so just hang in there with me. I'm learning as quickly as I can, trying to get it as good as possible. So I just wanted to explain a little bit. The other thing that really caught me by surprise is, as many of you know, we are now in summer holidays here, which means the kids aren't in school, and that eats up a lot of the time I had free to work on these videos. They're going to back to school soon, so hopefully that just frees up a lot of my time again. But in the meantime, thank you so much for all the support, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. If there are any topics that you guys would like me to cover or any questions that you want me to answer, you are welcome to leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll have a look at those and try and get to those videos. Thank you to the people that have left me suggestions. I'm going to try to get to those. Thanks guys, enjoy the video.
So this video is about Maxima Park, which is one of the biggest parks in the Netherlands, and it is maintained by the city of Utrecht alongside some private companies and then volunteers that look after the grounds. I tried to get information on exactly how big the park is, but I couldn't find anything. I just read that it is approximately as big as the city centre of Utrecht, which is really big if you think about it. It is split into two parts, the Binnenhof and the Buitenhof, and the Binnenhof alone is about 45 hectares, so that is really, really big. The Buitenhof is more known as the bushy part with not really landscaped gardens, but it's more forests or woods. It's really pretty. And then the Binnenhof is known as the more typically park, which is landscaped and laid out with a lot of spaces to have picnics in and public spaces to use. It's really lovely. On this video, or this short little clip, you'll see there are some trees on the inside, not the big ones on the outside. We'll get to them soon now, but what's really cool about them is that they are all fruit trees, and they're not only on this path. This is one of the winding paths on the outside of the park, but all through the park and around the park there are just fruit trees lining the roads, and it's mainly apples and pears, which they seem to be ready soon to eat, or anybody can just pick them. There are also a lot of mulberry bushes that I've seen around the park, and I've seen people come and bring little baskets and pick the berries. It's just one of those things that I found was really cool. In this video, I will only be showing you a few of my favorite spots in the park. I took so many videos for this episode, and then I realized if I were to show you guys the entire park in one video, it would take hours. It is that big, and I can only fast forward the clips that much, and then you can't see anything anymore. So I'll probably make another video at some point showing you different parts that I haven't covered yet. So this video will only be featuring a few of my favorites, but they are so interesting and so pretty that I really hope you guys like it. The first area I'm showing you is called Ritual Deposition, or in Dutch, Rituele Depositie. It is a monument made by Mathilde ter Heine, the artist is very interested in how societies preserve precious items for the generations to come and the meaning that these items carry. So with this in mind, she asked residents of the park to donate a few items, and she chose 15, which were then cast in bronze and put in glass containers underground. And you basically look down in these tubes to see which items it was. And I loved walking through and looking at each of these. On one of the outside edges of the park is another very pretty feature. It's called the park pergola. It is a transparent edge of approximately 1 kilometer long and 6 meters high. It's made of concrete honeycomb elements that will eventually be overgrown with all these climbing plants. It's already quite overgrown. It really looks lovely. And some parts of it even grows hops that are used by a local brewery called Maxima, and they actually use these hops to brew some of their beer. What's really cool about these honeycomb little blocks is that they actually provide shelter for a lot of little animals. The next area is probably one of my favorite. It is called Vlinderhof, and it is a really interesting story. There is a landscape architect called Piet Oudolf, which is very famous. And one of the residents of the park saw this piece of land and he just thought, wow, what if we can get Piet Oudolf to design a garden? So he approached the city of Utrecht, and their answer to him was, well, if you can get Piet Oudolf to commit to designing a garden and you can help raise some funds, well, then why not? And long story short, it actually worked out. He committed to it and he designed this garden alongside the residents, and it is just stunning. It is managed by the volunteers. Around 50 volunteers just manage it. I've actually seen them where they just take up some of the flowers that have died off and weed it, and it's really hard work, which is quite impressive. And there are about 15,000 different flowers in there, and it is something to see. I just took a few photos of some of the flowers that were in bloom as I was there, but it is really pretty. I've been there quite a few times, and every time that I go it looks different because some of the flowers, finished flowering and others only starting to flower. So it's really pretty. I've seen so many tourists there with cameras taking photos. I think it's one of the most popular areas of the park, if I were to guess, and it's really well maintained. It has a lovely picnic spot up on top. I think I'm showing it to you at some point in this video. It's a nice hill, so you look down onto the garden, which is a lovely sight. And there's all these small paths that the kids are running through that you can walk through and look at the flowers from each angle and see all the different ones. And nice benches along the road where you can just have a sit down and face the sun, which most people here always do. It was built in 2013, and a year later it was opened in 2014, so it's relatively new, but it is really well maintained. The flowers have grown, they look really pretty. I'm interested to see what it looks like in winter. Obviously there's a summer and spring, but it's really pretty, and one of our favorite spots, as I said. On the right side of the garden there is a wooded area which is quite big. And one of the lovely things about this area is that there are bunnies living in there, and not like big rabbits, those cute little fuzzy bunnies. We've gone a few times to have a little walk at late afternoon, and it seems to be when they come out to look for food, and it is just the cutest thing. They're fairly tame, you can't get too close, then they will hop away, but you can stand and have a look at them for quite some time without them running away. It's really cute. So coming up there in the background where you see the kids is another cool feature that we found. It's called Trackpoint, and basically it is this, I think it's called a barge that's on the water, and you pull yourself from one side to the other side. I've done it a few times, and I've had the kids do it a few times, and every time I have such a laugh. Here we had a bit of a misunderstanding. The people were thinking that I'm going with them, and I was asking if I can take a video. But as you can see, it's quite hard work. It's not that, it's quite heavy. So there's Al, once again, doing nothing as usual, just enjoying the ride. but you can pull yourself from this side to that side. On the other side, you are fairly close to one of the inside roads that are lined with houses, and also close to the swimming pool that's on the other side. And then, yes, you can go both ways. It's pretty on the barge as well. Both ways you can see the lake going around. And there are water lilies. I couldn't get a shot close enough, you guys, but at the moment there are water lilies on all the waterways, and they are beautiful. White ones and pink ones, and they actually look like fake plastic flowers. They're that pretty. But yeah, this is one of those fun things we like to do, and actually one of the things I like taking videos of the kids for. They're quite funny. As you exit the Vlinderhof, you go down this beautiful little road, and then it leads to another monument inside the park. It is called Barricade, and it is a monument to democracy, an ode to those who everywhere in the world rose up against injustice and oppression. It was created by Fernando Sanchez Castillo, and the work consists of a Citroen C2V, a Fiat 500, a Vespa scooter, car tires, flags, stones, and pieces of wood, and all of them were cast in bronze. It looks quite realistic in some places. The first time I approached it, I literally thought, how the heck did cars end up here, and how has this accident scene not been cleared? Until I got close and I realized, oh well, look, it's a monument, but it is really special, and it's actually quite nice walking around and looking at all the finer details. It's one of those special things I find in the park. Coming up is another one of those beautiful areas of the park. It is called the Japan or Japanese garden. It is absolutely beautiful. On the sides you can see these big hedges. They are rhododendrons, and they bloom in April, between April and June, with white and purple flowers. I unfortunately didn't take photos when they were in bloom, so now they don't have any flowers on them, but it is spectacular. It is really, really pretty when they're in bloom. And other than that, this is a really tranquil little area. There are lots of picnic spots that are well shaded from wind, so I see a lot of people having picnics here. There are bunnies everywhere in the afternoons, with nice picnic spots and benches that you can sit on. And the garden itself actually is not finished yet. The idea is that they over time just want to add all kinds of Japanese elements, and it is open to the public to contribute as well. So I'm excited to see what this garden actually looks like in a few years as well. Another very cool part of this garden is just on the outside here. You'll see we're approaching it now. There are chess tables, quite a few of them. There used to be only 3, I think there are now more, and they've recently been redone as well, so the chess tables are in a very good condition, and you can then either bring your own chess pieces to play here, or I've read that at the restaurant Anaphora you can also go and borrow pieces to play, and it is public space so anybody can use it. I've also read that there are sometimes chess tournaments that are arranged here. Around the park there is this road called Hedenlint. It is a very flat and smooth surface, specifically made that way for people to run or bike or rollerblade on. It's about 3 meters wide, so there's a lot of space for a lot of people to use it. If you follow these flowers, you'll run around about an 8-kilometer route. I think the entire Hedenlint consists of about 10 kilometers, so it's quite big. This path that you see here, we are approaching a very nice lake which is called Haarrijnse Plas. It is on the far side of the park, but it is a really lovely spot. It's very popular on sunny days, and it has a smallish beach that was made, but the lake itself is quite big. It's really interesting. The lake was made when they were actually very long ago building the Leidse Rijn and surrounding areas, and they needed sand. So they dug here, and now it is this absolutely beautiful lake that people love to come and swim in very hot days. It is very clean and clear water, and it only receives rainwater, and it regulates the surface water system of the Leidse Rijn area. The surface water is actually pumped by a pumping station to make sure that there's no freestanding or still standing water, so that the water stays clean and clear. We go there very often, especially these days with these heat waves that we've been having. The photos that you are seeing now are of the sunsets over there, and this photo is actually taken quite close to 10 o'clock at night, and as you can see, the sunsets are just phenomenal. The beach can be quite busy, especially on very warm days, even to very late at night. But it is really lovely. I'm so happy that we have this place around us to use.
Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays. Way back a year ago, I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays. Way back a year ago. Way back a year ago.